Santiago Bernabéu Stadium. Santiago Bernabéu Stadium is a football stadium in Madrid, Spain. With a seating capacity of 80,000, the stadium has the second largest seating capacity for a football stadium in Spain. It has been the home stadium of Real Madrid since its completion in 1947. Named after footballer and legendary Real Madrid president Santiago Bernabéu, 1895 to 1978, the stadium is one of the world's most famous football venues. It has hosted the final of the European Cup/UEFA Champions League on 4 occasions. In 1957, 1969, 1980, 2010. The stadium also hosted the second leg of the 2018 Copa Libertadores finals, making Santiago Bernabéu the first and only stadium to host the 2 most important Premier Continental Cup finals, UEFA Champions League and Copa Libertadores. The final matches for the 1964 European Nations Cup and the 1982 FIFA World Cup were also held at the Bernabéu, making it the first stadium in Europe to host both a UEFA Euro final and a FIFA World Cup final.
History, origins, and construction. In the early 1940s, the old Campo de Chamartín had become too small for the growing population of Madrid and the increasing popularity of football. Despite successive renovations that had expanded its capacity to 25,000 seats, the stadium was still insufficient for the club's needs. Faced with this situation, in the spring of 1943, President Antonio Santos Peralba expressed the need to build a new stadium with an initial capacity of 40,000 spectators, although the club's financial difficulties raised uncertainties about its realization. With the arrival of Santiago Bernabéu to the presidency in September 1943, the plan for the new stadium gained decisive and much more ambitious momentum. In his first meeting with the board of directors, Bernabéu declared, "Gentlemen, we need a bigger field and we are going to build it." Bernabéu's vision was to build an even larger stadium than the one proposed by Peralba, with a capacity close to 75,000 spectators. Bernabéu firmly believed that a larger stadium would allow the club to raise more money, which in turn would enable the club to grow, sign better players, and attract more fans, creating a virtuous cycle that would benefit the team in the long run. On November 1, 1943, the board of directors visited the land adjacent to the Campo de Chamartín, located in the extension of the Paseo de la Castellana, to analyze its possible expansion. These lands belong to the Villa Ulpiana estate and another known as Entre Canals, owned by the Maqueda and Chiavari families. Shortly thereafter, negotiations began to acquire them for a total cost of 3 million pesetas. On June 22, 1944, the land acquisitions were formalized before a notary. 256,667 square feet for 2 million pesetas from the Ruiz del Villar family and 93,877 square feet for 1,001,069 pesetas from the Maqueda and Chiavari families. Additionally, the necessary expropriations for the urbanization of the area, including the future streets Concha Espina and Plaza de los Sagrados Corazones, cost 1 million pesetas. To choose the design for the new stadium, a competition of ideas and sketches was organized, in which renowned architects participated. The architects Pedro Muguruza and Javier Barroso, former goalkeepers of Athletic de Madrid and Friends of Bernabéu, were part of the jury along with board members Fernando de Carcer de Steyr, first vice president, and Pedro Méndez Cuesta, board member responsible for the field and an architect by profession. In September 1944, after evaluating the 7 submitted projects, the jury awarded the first prize to the design of Manuel Muñoz Monasterio and Luis Alemany Solar. The award-winning works were exhibited at the Círculo de Bellas Artes, where they sparked great interest and debate among fans. On October 27, 1944, the land was blessed, and construction was symbolically initiated with a groundbreaking strike by Santiago Bernabéu. The financing of the construction presented significant challenges due to the distrust of members and banking entities. Despite the skepticism of many people, including some members and supporters, regarding the project's feasibility, Bernabéu remained steadfast in his purpose. In a context where banks did not consider football a safe investment and where official support from sports organizations was not obtainable, Bernabéu delegated to Treasurer Luis Corrales Ferraz the task of designing an innovative financing plan. This plan involved the issuance of bonds with mortgage guarantees on the club's properties. The next step was crucial. Bernabéu presented this plan to Rafael Salgado, president of Banco Mercantil e Industrial and a Real Madrid supporter. Thanks to Bernabéu's passionate and detailed explanation, Salgado agreed to finance the project, convinced of the viability and potential of the new stadium. This decision was crucial for the project's realization, and in recognition of his support, one of the streets adjacent to the stadium bears his name. The financing plan was structured into 3 staggered bond issues. First issue of 20,000 bonds for a total of 10 million pesetas on November 9, 1944. Second issue of 30,000 bonds for 15 million pesetas on March 18, 1946. Third issue of 10,000 bonds totaling 5 million pesetas on October 8, 1947. All the issues were covered on the day they were released to the stock market, thanks to the enthusiasm and confidence of the members, even the most modest ones. The plan was a complete success and allowed for staggered financing adjusted to the construction needs. The construction was awarded to the company Huarut y Compañía S.A., beginning in June 1945 under the direction of architects Alemany and Muñoz Monasterio and with the collaboration of civil engineer Carlos Fernández Casado. Over 30 months, the works faced numerous obstacles, from the shortage of basic materials in post-war Spain to technical difficulties due to a nearby railway link popularly known as the Tunnel of Laughter. However, the project progressed with enthusiasm and dedication. The construction of the new field took place on the grounds of the old field and on the lands of Villa Ulpiana, which could have disrupted the club's life. However, this only happened from 1946 when Real Madrid was forced to play home games at the Stadium Metropolitano during the 1946-47 season and in 5 matches of the 1947-48 season. Despite these inconveniences, Real Madrid maintained its sports activities while the new stadium took shape over part of the old site and on the adjacent lands. This is how Fernando de Cárcer de Steyr, the club's first vice president, summarized the development of the construction in 1947. We encountered numerous difficulties in transporting materials. Keep in mind that we used 18,000 square meters of gravel, 24,000 square meters of sand, 2 million bricks, 900 square meters of wood, and moved about 150,000 cubic meters of earth. For this, we had to load 82,000 trucks of 4 tons each. On average, 150 workers worked per day, so we had to pay about 315,000 workdays. For the services and sanitation network, we installed 4.5 kilometers of stoneware, iron, and lead pipes, with 90 porcelain sinks, 125 toilets, 365 urinals, and 46 showers. There is enough space to install offices, restaurants, warehouses, and other services. But for now, we have limited ourselves to the essentials for football. For dressing rooms for players with their corresponding showers, a swimming pool, a massage room, and a first aid kit. An infirmary with 6 beds, a treatment room, and an emergency operating room. A dressing room for the referee with all its services. A wardrobe room with a clothing repair workshop and iron. A shoemaker, laundry, and a large gymnasium. A telephone exchange and a radio amplification center. Additionally, a room for detainees has been built, thus avoiding the need for law enforcement to be distracted by escorting them. Regarding the costs, around 16 million pesetas were budgeted, but this has increased due to perfectly justified reasons, such as the nature of the terrain, the rise in material prices over these 30 months, more than 25% in some cases, and the new labor regulations in the construction industry that required safety measures not contemplated in the project. Currently, in 1947, if we were to start the construction of the stadium, its cost would rise to 45 million pesetas. The amortization is planned to be completed in 20 years with our own resources, and without having started using the new field, we have already begun to amortize. This is a great success for Real Madrid and the people of Madrid.
Fernando de Cárcer de Steyr.
The total cost of the works, in round numbers, was broken down into the following items. 1. Land. Acquisitions, capital gains, real rights, stamps, writing expenses, cancellation of commitments, and lifting of the mortgage on the old Chamartin, 4,500,000 pesetas. 2. Loans. Costs of the same, 2 million pesetas. 3. Works. Material execution of the stadium, 28 million pesetas. Execution of the office, 1,500,000 pesetas. 4. Fees. Architects, quantity surveyors, and awards from the Ideas and Sketches competition, 1,300,000 pesetas. 5. Compensation for expropriations of land carried out by the City Council, 1 million pesetas. Total disbursed, 38,300,000 pesetas, 230,183 euros. Opening. The stadium was inaugurated on December 14, 1947, with a match between Real Madrid and the Portuguese side Os Belenenses. After the preliminaries, at 15:30 referee Pedro Escartin from the Madrid school started the match. Real Madrid striker Sabino Baranaga scored the first goal in the 15th minute with a header. At the end of the match, Baranaga received a recognition pennant. Afterward, players and managers of both teams celebrated with a dinner. The first official match took place on December 28, 1947, on matchday 12 of La Liga against Atletico de Bilbao, which had been postponed due to the inauguration of the stadium. The match was refereed by José Fombona Fernandez from the Asturian school and ended with a 5-1 victory for Los Blancos. The first goal was scored in the 4th minute by Madrid midfielder Chus Alonso after receiving a pass from Baranaga. The stadium's official name at the time was Estadio Real Madrid Club de Futbol, although it continued to be known among fans as Nuevo Estadio Chamartín, English, New Chamartín Stadium, or simply Chamartín. The stadium had an initial capacity of 75,145 spectators, 27,645 of which had seats, 7,125 covered, and 47,500 for standing fans. 1950s. The first major renovation occurred in 1955. On June 19th of that year, the stadium expanded to accommodate 125,000 spectators. Thus, the Madrid Coliseum became the biggest stadium of all the participants of the newly established European Cup. On January 4, 1955, after the General Assembly of Members Compromisarios, it was decided that the stadium adopt its present name in honor of club president Santiago Bernabéu. In March 1957, floodlights were installed to allow nighttime games. On May 18th of the same year, the new floodlights were officially inaugurated in a game against Brazilian club Sport Recife, which Real Madrid won 5-3. 1960s and 1970s. In 1965, the transfer of all the club's offices to the stadium was completed, which previously had been moved between multiple venues in the capital. On December 14, 1972, coinciding with the 25th anniversary of the Santiago Bernabéu's inauguration, the first electronic scoreboard was installed inside the stadium and later utilized for the first time in a friendly match against the same rival that Madrid faced in 1947, the Portuguese Belenenses. The match ended with a 2-1 Real victory. Days before, the scoreboard had already been used for the farewell ceremony of the Madrid legend Paco Gento. 1980s. The next big changes did not occur until the early 1980s with the hosting of the 1982 FIFA World Cup in Spain. The stadium had to adapt to the changing times, and with this, architects Rafael Luis Alemany and Manuel Salinas were hired for the stadium's renovation project. The brothers were sons of Luis Alemany Soler, who carried out the original construction project next to Muñoz Monasterio. The work lasted 16 months and had a cost of 704 million pesetas, US $4.7 million, of which 530 million was paid by the city of Madrid. The improvements included a number of points. First, FIFA forced 2/3 of the seating area to be covered. For this reason, Real Madrid installed a roof covering the perimeter of the first and second tiers of seating, except the east side. The stadium's capacity was reduced from 120,000 to 90,000 spectators, starting downsizing in 1978. 24,550 of which were covered by the new roof. The project also involved remodeling the facade, the installation of new electronic signs in the north and south ends, as well as the renovation of the press areas, lockers rooms, access, and ancillary areas. The stadium hosted 4 matches in the World Cup, 3 second-round Group 2 matches, West Germany vs. England, West Germany vs. Spain, and Spain vs. England, and the prestigious final match, Italy vs. West Germany. The final between Italy and Germany was played in front of a sold-out stadium of 90,000 people. 1990s. Following a series of spectator fatalities in the 1980s, most notably the Heysel Stadium in Belgium and the Hillsborough Stadium in England, English authorities released the Taylor Report on how to improve football spectator safety in English venues. UEFA followed suit across Europe. The stadium was forced to create separate shortcuts to different stadium sections and seats for all spectators. In 1992, the board of Ramon Mendoza awarded an expansion and renovation project to Guinness Navarro Construcciones, S.A. The work started on February 7, 1992 and concluded on May 7, 1994 with a final cost of more than 5 billion pesetas, substantially raising the debt of the club, which no longer had any institutional support. The work concluded with the creation of an amphitheater on the west side and in the foundations, as well as the opening of the new commercial center, La Esquina del Bernabéu. In total, 20,200 upgraded seats were installed, with each seat having a tilt of 87 degrees, ensuring a perfect view and proximity to the pitch. In addition, 4 entrance towers were erected on the outside, each with 2 staircases and a central spiral ramp, so the spectators could access the new tier and exit more quickly. With the new structure, the height of the stadium was increased from 22 m to 45 m. This caused problems during the winter, leaving 2/3 of the field of play in the shade. This lack of sunlight led to grass deterioration on the pitch. For this reason, a polypropylene pipe network was installed at a 20 centimeters depth under the pitch. At over 30 kilometers long, the pipe system circulates hot water, keeping the turf from freezing in cold temperatures. Also, due to the height of the stand, it was necessary to improve and increase the lighting capability. A retractable protective roof was also installed to protect the fans from the elements. After the renovation, the stadium's capacity was 106,000 spectators. In 1997, with Lorenzo Sanz as president, UEFA required the Santiago Bernabéu to adopt an all-seating arrangement, bringing its capacity down from 106,000 to 74,328 spectators. On May 20, 1999, the Tour Bernabéu opened, along with the Club Museum. 2000s. As the club kept growing in all regards, thoughts for further changes to the stadium appeared. When Florentino Perez became the president of the club, he launched a master plan with one goal: to improve the comfort of the Santiago Bernabéu and the quality of its facilities, and maximize revenue for the stadium. Perez invested €127 million in 5 years, 2001 to 2006, by adding an expansion to the east side of the stadium, as well as adding a new facade on Father Damien Street, new boxes and VIP areas, new dressing rooms, a new stage in honor of the east side, a new press area, also located on the east side, a new audio system, new bars, integration of heating in the stands, panoramic lifts, new restaurants, escalators in the tower access, and implementation of the multipurpose building in Father Damien Street. Following the enlargement of the lateral east side and the creation of new galleries, the capacity of the Santiago Bernabéu was expanded to 80,354, all seated. After these renovations, on November 14, 2007, 1 month before the 60th anniversary of the stadium's opening, UEFA awarded the Santiago Bernabéu the category of Elite Stadium and designated it as the venue for the 2010 UEFA Champions League final. 2010s. In the summer of 2011, expansion work was carried out in the first amphitheater, adding an additional row to the overhang of the grandstand, which increased the capacity by 900 seats, reaching a total capacity of 81,044 spectators. In December 2018, the Santiago Bernabéu Stadium was selected as the venue for the second leg of the Copa Libertadores de America final, becoming the first stadium in the world to host the final of 4 of the 5 most important tournaments in the world: the FIFA World Cup, the UEFA European Championship, the Copa America, the Copa Libertadores de America, and the UEFA Champions League. Renovation 2019 to 2024. After investing a total of €256 million since 2000, the board of directors, led by Florentino Perez, decided to take advantage of the stadium's prime location to launch an ambitious renovation project with a dual objective: to transform the Santiago Bernabéu into a global icon of sports architecture and to make it one of the club's main sources of direct revenue, allowing it to continue competing economically with clubs owned by large private capital in the future. This proposal was announced at the Ordinary General Assembly on September 12, 2010, and approved by the delegate members at the Extraordinary Assembly on September 25, 2011. To implement it, the Madrid City Council and the government of the Community of Madrid approved a specific amendment to the General Urban Development Plan in 2012, allowing the club to increase the buildability of the stadium and modify its facade. The proposed plan included a new architectural envelope, roof covering for all seats, and the incorporation of bioclimatic systems with renewable energy, as well as the construction of 2 new public plazas, a hotel, and a large shopping center on the side facing Paseo de la Castellana. To carry out this proposal, an international architecture competition was held in 2012 in which 4 teams of world-renowned prestige participated: one formed by the studios of Herzog and de Meuron and Rafael Monio, another composed of Foster and Partners and Rafael de la Hoz, a third consisting of the teams of Populous and Estudio Lamilla, and a fourth formed by GMP Architekten, L35, and Rebus, whose proposal was announced as the winning project on January 31, 2014. However, the project was halted in February 2015, when the Superior Court of Justice of Madrid annulled the approval of the specific amendment to the General Urban Development Plan of Madrid, considering it contrary to the general interest and urban planning regulations. The court argued that the plan entailed a substantial alteration of land use and an unjustified free grant of urban development rights to Real Madrid. Faced with this situation, the club decided to modify the winning project to comply with current laws and reduce its urban impact. Thus, in 2016, it presented a new project that eliminated the hotel and shopping center, raised the height of the stadium by only 12 meters, 39 feet, for the construction of the roof, reaching a total height of 60 meters, 200 feet, and eliminated the possibility of increasing the capacity. Finally, on May 31, 2017, the Madrid City Council approved the renovation by approving the special plan for the Santiago Bernabéu Stadium. After approving the replotting project, the sustainable mobility plan, and the urbanization project, the club awarded the renovation works to the construction company FCC Construcciones, which finally began in June 2019. For the financing of the works, the Real Madrid Board of Directors approved a loan of €575 million on April 12, 2019, for 30 years with a fixed interest rate of 2.5%, including a 3-year grace period, resulting in an annual payment of €29.5 million starting from July 30, 2023. Additionally, on December 7, 2021, the financing was extended with an additional loan of €225 million for 27 years with a fixed interest rate of 1.53% and a grace period until July 30, 2024, with an annual payment of €10.5 million starting from that date. Finally, on November 11, 2023, a third loan of €370 million for 30 years was requested to cover cost overruns due to the pandemic and the Russian invasion of Ukraine. Thus, the total financing amounts to €1.170 billion at an average interest rate of 3%, with an annual payment of €60 million over 30 years, which is less than half of the new expected annual profits after the completion of the works.
Location. The stadium is located in the Chamartin district of Madrid. It occupies the block bounded by the Paseo de la Castellana and the streets of Concha Espina, Padre Damian, and Rafael Salgado. Transportation. The stadium is served by its own metro station along the Line 10 called Santiago Bernabéu. It is also served by bus routes 14, 27, 40, 43, 120, 147, and 150. Major club matches. 1957 European Cup Final. This match on May 30th, 1957 was contested between Real Madrid, champions of Spain, and Fiorentina, champions of Italy, at the former's home stadium. In this season, 16 teams played for the trophy. Real Madrid won 2-0 in the final after goals from Alfredo Di Stefano and Francisco Gento in the second half. This was the second consecutive European Cup for Real Madrid, after having won their first trophy 1 year before, at the Parc des Princes against Stade de Reims. 1969 European Cup Final. On May 28, 1969, Milan, champions of Italy, played Ajax, champions of the Netherlands, to determine the champions of Europe. Milan defeated Ajax 4-1 to win their second European championship. Ajax made history by being the first Dutch team to reach a final. 1980 European Cup Final. On May 28, 1980, defending champions Nottingham Forest of England faced Hamburger SV, champions of Germany. The match ended with a victory for the English team with a 1-0 result. The new champions of Europe retained the trophy and achieved a historic second consecutive European Cup. 2010 UEFA Champions League Final. On May 22, 2010, German champions Bayern Munich, who eliminated Lyon in the semi-finals, faced Italian champions Internazionale, who defeated Barcelona in the semi-finals. Inter won 2-0 after 2 goals from Diego Milito, completing the treble. 2018 Copa Libertadores Final. The two-legged 2018 CONMEBOL Copa Libertadores final pitted Argentine archrivals of Buenos Aires in Boca Juniors and River Plate against each other in the final for the first time. The first leg was held at Boca Juniors' home pitch, La Bombonera, on November 11, 2018. Ending in a 2-2 draw with no away goal rule applied. During the planned second leg on November 24, 2018 at El Monumental, the home stadium of River Plate, numerous River Plate fans threw glass bottles and stones at the Boca Juniors team bus headed to the stadium, injuring numerous players as a result. CONMEBOL postponed the match and moved the second leg to Europe for December 9, 2018 in Madrid, a neutral site for security and travel reasons. Both sets of fans attended the match as River Plate won 3-1 after extra time, 5-3 on aggregate, to lift the trophy outside of South America for the first time. Major international matches. 1.964 Euro. Santiago Bernabéu hosted 3 matches during qualifying and the main tournament of 1964 European Nations Cup. One qualifying match was played at the stadium, as well as Spain's 2-1 semi-final victory against Hungary, and the final in which Spain defeated the defending champions USSR 2-1. 1982 FIFA World Cup. In the 1982 World Cup held in Spain, the Santiago Bernabéu Stadium hosted 4 matches, 3 in the second round, and the final in which Italy defeated West Germany 3-1.
Other uses. American football. The Santiago Bernabéu Stadium hosted its first American football game on November 16, 1958, after a La Liga match between Real Madrid and Valencia. However, the teams were not professionals, but represented 2 United States Air Force bases in Europe, Tigers from Toul, France, and Tucuners from Giebelstadt, Germany. The stadium is scheduled to host its first National Football League game in 2025, as part of the NFL International Series. Cultural and social events. The Santiago Bernabéu Stadium has played host to some significant political and religious events. During his pastoral visit to Spain in 1982, Pope John Paul II addressed some 160,000 young individuals at the stadium. Concerts. The Santiago Bernabéu Stadium has hosted many touring musicians with dates in Madrid due to its expansive seating capacity and centralized location. On September 12, 1983, famed Madrid-based singer Julio Iglesias, father of Enrique Iglesias, and who played as a goalkeeper for Real Madrid Castilla in the late 1950s, performed for nearly 100,000 people at the stadium. On September 21, 1989, Iglesias gave a free concert to a crowd of 70,000 people at the stadium. On September 25, 1986, American singer Frank Sinatra performed at the Estadio Santiago Bernabéu, his only concert in the Spanish capital. On July 15, 1987, Irish rock band U2 held their first concert in Spain at the Estadio Santiago Bernabéu as part of their Joshua Tree Tour, along with English bands Big Audio Dynamite, The Pretenders, and UB40 as the opening acts. Spanish journalist Javier Menendez Flores believed that as many as 115,000 spectators may have been in attendance. On June 1, 2002, the cast, 16 contestants, of the reality singing competition show Operación Triunfo performed a sold-out concert at the Bernabéu Stadium as part of a 27-city Spanish tour. Their Bernabéu Stadium concert aired on one of 5.14 million viewers, with a 39.5% share, becoming the most-watched concert in the country. American rock musician Bruce Springsteen and the E Street Band performed at the stadium on 3 separate tours, making him the first artist to perform at the stadium on more than one occasion. The first date was during the Magic Tour on July 17, 2008, where the band played to an audience of 53,783. Their second concert was part of the Wrecking Ball World Tour on June 17, 2012, with an audience of 54,639 people, the first time Springsteen and his band sold out the stadium. 4 years after that, the band returned to the Santiago Bernabéu Stadium on May 21, 2016 for the River Tour, performing to a sellout crowd of 55,695. The Bernabéu Stadium would have hosted its first music festival on June 30, 2012, entitled El Gol de la Vida, The Goal of Life, a benefit concert featuring Dominican musician Juan Luis Guerra as part of his Asun de Guerra World Tour, new flamenco singer Antonio Carmona, Mexican singer Marcela Gandara, and American Christian singer Marcos Witt. However, the event was postponed and moved to the indoor arena, Palacio de Deportes de la Comunidad de Madrid, the home of Real Madrid Baloncesto, for unknown reasons, possibly due to weather concerns, scheduling conflicts, or capacity issues. On June 25, 2014, the Rolling Stones became the third international artist and rock band to headline a show at the stadium, when they brought their 14 on Fire tour to a sellout crowd of 57,416 spectators. Local rock icon Leva opened for the English band. On June 29, 2018, the top 16 finalists of the 9th series of Operación Triunfo performed at the stadium in front of 60,000 people as part of their Spanish tour. It was the second time the first being in 2002, that the contestants of Operación Triunfo brought their tour to the stadium. American pop singer Taylor Swift performed at the Santiago Bernabéu Stadium on the 29th and the 30th of May 2024 for her Global Eras tour. Aside from being the first international artist to perform at the stadium in over a decade, Swift held the first concerts at the newly renovated 2024 stadium, which has been outfitted with up-to-date technology to optimize the audience's experience at large-scale concerts, based on a comprehensive acoustic study. Real Madrid of Diario AS also noted that the concert's announcement marked the first major event announcement for the newly constructed stadium. On 2021, the 22nd and the 23rd of June 2024, popular Colombian singer Karol G is performing 4 shows at the Santiago Bernabéu Stadium for her Mañana Será Bonito World Tour, making her the artist with the most performances at the stadium. After announcing the first 3 shows from 20 to 22 June 2024, which sold out in a matter of hours, the singer added a much-anticipated 4th show, marking the final dates of the European leg of her tour. Approximately 200,000 fans, at least, are estimated to be attending the 4-night spectacle. The 2024 concerts at Santiago Bernabéu Stadium will mark Karol G's first performances given in Spain in at least 5 years, since the earlier days of her career when she performed at small venues and festivals around the country.